So welcome to my polytunnel and my aquaponics setup. Aquaponics is an interesting concept. It's a way of growing plants in grow beds which are fed entirely on fish waste. So we've got a tank here full of fish, and the fish excrete into the water. The byproduct of this fish waste is ammonia. The ammonia is converted into nitrates, and then the nitrate basically feeds your plants. So this is the grow bed now above the fish tank, and all the plants in here are being fed just on fish waste. So we've got pak choy growing here, doing really well, and small carrots, baby carrots, we've been in a few weeks. Interestingly, we've got garlic bulbs growing, or cloves, which are turning into bulbs, and also, believe it or not, very small spring onions. All of these plants are growing just in pebble and clay balls. There's no compost or anything in here, they're just growing in pebbles. You might think that the carrots aren't going to do very well, but they do fantastically well, and you can crop them just as you would in soil. The pebbles don't inhibit their growth at all, and what you finish with is lovely, sweet, completely organic carrots. We've got broad beans growing in here. It's a bit of an experiment. I just wanted to see if they did well, and they seem to be doing fantastic. So that's one bed. This bed's been set up for about 8 or 9 months now. I've already cropped loads and loads and loads of plants from it: pak choy, tomatoes, chilies, lettuce, and watercress. This is a watercress bed. The watercress is absolutely fantastic, does really well. You just basically buy a packet of watercress from the local supermarket and plant a few strands in, and away you go. Tastes lovely, very peppery of course, and you know where it's come from, and you know how organic it is. It's lovely. Water from this fish tank is pumped into these pipes. You can see here the small drip. Water's going into the pipe, passing up the pipe, feeding these plants as it goes, and it's right to the very end, tumbles round, provides water and nutrient to the plants in there, such as this strawberry plant, which is doing fantastically well. Look, you can see the roots and you can see the plants, and we've already got strawberries growing on there. Moving on to the other end of the polytunnel, we've got another tank which is full of fish. Well, not full of fish, but it has koi carp in it. There's some koi in there, looking really healthy and doing amazingly well. You can see how crystal clear the water is. There's a pump in there which is constantly pumping water up through this pipe. You can control the flow with this tap. At the moment it's fully open, and water is constantly flooding into this bed. This bed contains all kinds of garden vegetables. We've got shallots growing, doing really well. We've got a few radishes, we've got lettuce just peering through here. That's pick and come again lettuce, and we've got chives at the back, and again watercress. Seems to be a lot of watercress. That's because it does so well. This is quite interesting. The water is flooding into this tank constantly. It fills the bed up to about an inch below the surface, then tumbles down through this pipe here, and then underneath it escapes via that 1/2 inch drain pipe, standard drain pipe. We're moving back down again, and you can see here it is coming out there, flooding back into this tank with lovely crystal clean water constantly. Of course, you can put that on a timer and have it running just for an hour here and an hour there, but at the moment I've got it running permanently. But that would be a good way of saving a little bit of energy. However, it's really cheap to run, and one pump I've worked out costs about £7 a year to run. From this bed underneath there's also another tiny pump. This one is not quite so powerful, 4 watt I think it is. It's which would cost you about £3 a year to run. Comes up this pipe and past this tap here where I can vary the flow, and into the drain pipes here. And these drain pipes are doing really well, or should I say that the plants growing in them are, because we've got strawberries growing in here really early. We're only into the end of April, but we're doing really fantastically well. We've got strawberries growing. That one hasn't got a lot of root on it, but some of these plants have massive root forms. We'll try this one. This was, I know this one has. There we go. This is the root, and there's the strawberries. There's a potential for me to actually cut the strawberries off at this stage to allow the plants to really establish, and then have a much bigger crop of strawberries next year. But I thought I'd rather let them crop this year. So the water's tumbling away through, and at the very end it tumbles back out of this pipe here. So it's gone 1, 2, 3. Nutrient rich water now is tumbling out of this, although some of the nutrients have been taken out by the plants, hopefully. Comes out through these pipes, this pipe rather, along the pipe, and then deliberately I've left something out of this pot so you can see it dripping, and constantly drips water. So these tomatoes are being constantly drip fed and watered, and the water passes through these pots into the tray below here, and then tumbles back out to via this small pipe here. You can see there it's just coming out. You see my hand filling up with water at the rate that it tumbles in, so water's passing through constantly. So that's bed number 2. If you go up to bed number 3, this one at the moment has been set up hydroponically rather than aquaponically. That means that all the nutrient is being provided by chemical, which I don't find quite so attractive, to be honest, but it's very efficient. The water is being pumped through large pipes there. Off the large 1/2 inch pipe there are these smaller tiny micro pipes which pump to these spikes, and the water is constantly feeding and watering these plants. This little bed here has got some basil in it. We've got tomatoes here and tomatoes there, obviously tomatoes all around. You can see that these tomatoes have done a lot better than the ones that are being fed by the fish waste. That will be because I haven't quite got the ratio of water to fish correct, so we probably need a little bit more fish waste and more fish, whereas these are getting a balanced, scientifically balanced feed and doing really well, growing really well. So there we have it. This is Exeter Aquaponics, and things are doing really beautifully well. I hope you enjoy it. My name's Charlie Fleming. Please enjoy my blog. If you Google Exeter Aquaponics or follow the link, you'll get there if you're not already reading this through the blog. Check back for regular updates.